Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering October 24th through the 30th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings, meaning whenever it shows up for you, that is the time that the messages are meant for you. So, I am going to connect this week with the energy of the moon. So we have entered the energy of the Aries full moon. Aries is the first sign in the 12-month zodiac, and so I feel like it would be really great to harness this energy as you intend to look forward into the next year. You're starting a new 12-year full moon cycle, and the full moon is a time for releasing that which no longer serves us. It's a time to reflect upon the last month or so and just kind of maybe just review and reflect upon the cycles, the patterns, the things that came up that you want to release to this moon. It could be hiccups and bumps, it could be frustrations, it could be annoyances, on your own journey. And then also to going into the next year, right? We're coming to the end. So this is the last full week in October. We're going into the last couple months of 2021, the 5 universal year, which is about change and transformation. So these next few full moons are a really powerful time to kind of release those cycles, those patterns. Again, it's more of like, I'm noticing this, I'm aware of it, and I'm releasing it and surrendering it to the divine. A lot of times in healing, just the awarenesses and the aha moments of these patterns or these loops and these cycles that we've been experiencing in our own spiritual journey is the healing. Just the awareness and the attention to it is the healing. And the shift happens with your actions going forward as you're present and aligned in the moment. So one of the messages that I got before opening space as I was preparing the cards for this reading was, what's the rush? So I don't know how the cards are going to unfold, but the inquiry question is, what's the rush? What's the rush? What are we rushing for? Why are we forcing things? What is the timeline? Like, who says that things have to happen a certain way? So releasing expectations, releasing the timelines, releasing the judgments. And again, this is really great energy for the Aries full moon, releasing the judgments that things that are happening in your life should be or shouldn't be a certain way, and that's sometimes a tough nut to digest when we're on this journey and we have a plan and our intuition and our guidance pushes us in a certain way, but we have to understand it's not always outcome based. It's not always the experiences you're having. It doesn't always unfold in the way you think, or sometimes the experiences you're having are about the experience itself and not about the end result. So really the question is like, what's the rush? If you're trying to force things, if you're trying to make something happen, if you're trying to prove something, again, it's all just it's all reflection as we now are receptive to receiving. If you were doing your new moon manifesting the last couple weeks, as you're releasing any limitations, any belief systems, anything that's coming up, as you release that energy, you're now even more open and receptive to receive the blessings and the wishes and the manifestations that you set forth in the new moon energy for the last 2 weeks that the new moon has been in. So I just got Yasmin Boland's brand new deck, Moonology Manifestation. So I'm going to use this deck. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a really fun deck to use. And the inside, if I can, I can't pull it out now, of course. So the inside, I always love the insides of her decks. There's usually a message. I love the new decks that are having the messages inside. So, it's such a tight deck. It says, Attune to the moon and manifest miracles. I love it. So this is her deck. So I'm going to use both her decks in the reading this week, but I'm going to start with, instead of pulling a guide, I'm going to work with the guide goddess Isis. She has been, because she's a sky goddess, she has been known to be connected as an Egyptian moon goddess. She has been known to be in that energy. So I'm going to work with her and pulling a card for a theme for you this week. And then I'm going to get into the message of healing from the Soulful Woman Oracle. And then your action steps this week will come from the brand new Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. Then what you're being gifted with this week will come from Queen of the Moon Oracle. And then we'll finish with an overall message from Yasmin's other deck, Moonology. So this should be really interesting. We got some cool energies, a different vibration from what I've been channeling the last few weeks. So, of course, I'm a quadruple moon goddess. My sun, moon, rising, and Mercury signs are all under the sign of Cancer, which is the moon energy, mother moon, right? It's the moon child energy. So I am wanting to channel the energy, understand to remember that we're just coming out of like a massive retrograde energy, and a lot of the planets that have been retrograde are direct now. Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. These energies are now going forward. So this week, as of last week, could kind of feel like a little bit of a haze. This would be a really great week for you to reevaluate, work with the energy of the moon, and release, the last 4 months, any confusion, any frustration. For me personally, and from what I've seen from clients I've been working with, there has been massive change. If you've been following my channel, I have mentioned that I have experienced mass amounts of change in a very short amount of time that got very overwhelming and incredibly intense. So I know that when I go through these things, the collective is experiencing them as well in many different levels. So if you've been experiencing loss or change or transition, or you've been experiencing a lot of wonderful things, even though I've experienced some difficult transitions and loss in my life, I've also been experiencing some tremendously profound manifestations and joy, and working through the energy of like how do you embrace feeling so sad and so joyful and excited and grateful all at the same time. So many of you may be feeling this and seeing your life unfold differently than you expected. And how can you pull back this week and really look at the blessings of how your life has changed and the challenges that you've gone through, how that has made you stronger and a more powerful person. So Isis, what is your theme this week? Actually, you know what? I gotta open up space. So let me call on all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you this week. I am going to connect my heart to the heart of the goddess Isis and the mother moon energy. And I'm going to ask that the messages that are channeled through this reading be for your best and highest good and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, I feel like a little ungrounded, so I'm just going to do a little extra pull down on my feet, chakras, into the earth. All right, Isis, what is your theme this week for the EarthAngel Collective as we connect with the moon? What is the most important thing that the Earth Angels need to hear, see, feel, and know this week from you? There it is. So this one flipped right over, friends. Oh, I love it. We have the divine feminine unky. I have a ring. Oh, you know what? It's here. I have a ring that I've been wearing. I absolutely love this ring. Maybe I'll put it on for our session. So this is a beautiful symbol of the divine feminine energy. I'm loving the wings here. So rise in your feminine energy, whether you're masculine or feminine watching this reading. I feel like this week already off the bat, you're being asked to connect with your feminine energy, intuition and wisdom and feeling and receptivity, right? Getting into your body this week. So her message is, the mother of life, of course, wanting to connect with Mother Moon, the mother energy. So her message this week, the divine feminine, says, when life seems dry, depleted, filled with repetitive tasks, or simply stagnant and stifled, Isis, the mother of life, holds the ability to revive even the most numb, resistant, and difficult circumstances in your life. Wow. She calls you to now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. Be bold and brave. Open your arms to receive, right? Here's that receptive energy. So I'm feeling this week, the moon has been so beautiful in the sky. I've been able to see it rise. I believe this is the harvest moon, and it's the full moon in Aries, and I saw it the other night rise up in its yellow orangish color. And it was still low in the sky. And I remember just kind of pulling over and pausing, giving myself a chance to receive the gift of its radiance and its magnificence. And then last night I looked up in the sky and it was rising and it was gorgeous white. It looked like just a silver dollar in the sky. And I remember just soaking in the energy of the moon. So I feel like the mother of life wants to hydrate you. So if you've been in an action-oriented state, if you've been feeling challenge and adversity, if you've been on that hunt energy and trying to make things happen, if you've been, just depleted emotionally, just experiencing so much of the change that the world is experiencing, I feel like the mother is wanting you to drink her water, quench your thirst through receiving that maternal, nurturing energy. Open your arms to receive this week, right? So again, this is just reflection. Maybe you're feeling this and you didn't realize you're feeling it. Maybe it's coming up and you're like, wow, yeah, I really resonate with that with that energy. And so she calls to you now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. So again, being able to recognize those patterns and being able to open your arms and saying, I see this now. Show me the lessons in this experience. Show me how to move forward. Show me how to listen. Sometimes it's show me how to listen. So show me how to be still. Show me how to receive, because receiving is crucial on this journey. So many caregivers and earth angels and light workers and healers and empaths and highly sensitive intuitives, so many of us have been groomed and raised in this giving vibration and not taught how crucial the receptor energy is and being able to receiving love from the divine. And sometimes that's a challenge when we have a lot of unknown, unseen, uncertain things coming up. So, mother of life. So Isis, mother of life, what healing message do you have for your earth angel children this week? What message do you have? Again, I just keep feeling there's so much action going on. There's so much, maybe you're just also too receiving just a lot of information all at once, and the mother is just reminding you to be still and receive sacred silence, receiving rest and pause. Maybe this is a week to regroup, to really not do but be this week. It could be another message that's coming up for you. So the message of healing is, I embrace my body. Of course, getting into your body, right? Nourishing your soul. So the message here is, I honor and embrace all of my body. I am receptive to her specific needs. So not only is she saying, she calls to you now, seeking you to bestow the gifts of life upon, and behold, open your arms to receive. She's also saying, expanding on that further, meaning starting with your own body, your own needs, where it says, I am receptive to her specific needs, which checking in, saying maybe it's nourishing foods, maybe it is sunshine, maybe it is laughter with mutually supportive, faith-filled friends, maybe it is stillness, maybe it is water, right? Delicious water. Remember, your body is such a vehicle, such a vessel, especially if you're a divine feminine dominant person watching this reading. It's, your body, your heart, and your body is the direct connection to your intuition, right? So if there's any rejection of the body and challenge with the body, if there's any foods that are filling your body that is distorting or clouding your vision, right? Sometimes things like dairy or white sugars or anything that's processed that's creating inflammation in the body. I'm hearing, again, it's not shame. It's just sometimes we need to have these experiences to encourage us when we do feel good to stay on track with that, right? So, I've definitely mentioned in the past that everything, I find that everything in moderation works for me. So even though I'm 98% plant-based as my diet at this point, that doesn't mean every once in a while I'm craving pizza and onion rings. And when I have it, my body loves it. It soaks it up. It's exactly what I need. So, I don't like to pigeonhole myself in a certain diet or that it has to be a certain way. I just intuitively know that I feel really good. I feel stable. I feel balanced. I feel alive when at least 90% of the diet that I have is plant-based. But again, I don't restrict myself. And, there's other things that I add into my diet that, that type of regimen is not for everybody. So I feel like this week, now that Isis is kind of going into the body, is how can you release restrictions and regimens and, it has to be this way. And kind of listening to the calling of what your body feels. It's not uncommon for me to, at 9 o'clock at night, crave tuna fish. And so I'll have that, and then I won't have it for months and months and months and months. So, this is where we want to kind of release any restrictions. And then also too, I love food. I love to eat. I very much enjoy it. So being plant-based, I can eat a lot of food and I can make a lot of different recipes and really enjoy eating, but yet my body just soaks it up and just burns it up through the exercise and the work that I'm doing. So understand that, if you're in that mindset of I've got to do something to get something, like I've got to go on this restriction, but unless your body's really craving those plants and those fruits and those vegetables, and those healthy grains and, healthy lean meats, if that's something that you're including in your diet, understand that, there's got to be this detox of the sugar and the dairy and the inflammation first, right? Or else you're naturally going to crave those things. So this would be a really great week, again, to release cravings, to release, anything that is not a vibrational match for you. Like I have a tendency around the full moon to want to ground, and if I'm not doing it spiritually, I'm going to want to do it with baking foods, like breads and, pastries and things like that. So, you want to be mindful that, when you're going to those foods, you want to check in and saying, is this going to contribute to the quality of life that I'm creating for myself in my dietary habits? Is this going to make me feel good? And when I eat something afterwards and I don't feel good, I just take note of it. I'm like, oh, that's just not something that, I want to have. So understand it's all learning. So when I say I embrace my body, I really mean that. Embrace your body and what it's teaching you and the messages that it's giving you, the pain, the immobility, the bloating, even like feeling alive when you're eating food and you feel energetically abundant. Embrace all of it. And like I said in the beginning in the channeled message is let's try to stay away from judgments and expectations that if we're doing something that the outcome has to be the way we want it, right? So it's also card number 4. 13. Well, 13 is a very feminine number as well. 13 is also connected to the divine feminine, lucky number 13, right? There's 13 moon cycles. There's, in a year, there is like 13, if you're menstruating, there's like the 13, like in that as well. 13 is a very feminine numbers, lucky number 13. It's powerful. So if you start seeing 13 this week, I would connect it to the divine mother, the divine feminine, just calling you to the nurturing, to cherishing and honoring your body of all things, right? You need your body. Your body is your vehicle going forward, and embracing it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Maybe some of you are detoxing from supplements, or maybe some of you are making changes with any medications that you're taking. Maybe you're making adjustments, and understand anytime you're doing that, adding to it or reducing or making changes because you're not feeling well, anything with that takes time, right? We're not talking about a quick fix here. So you can release all that energy to the moon and go into your intuitive body and ask it what it needs, and giving yourself space to sit and listen, right? I just keep feeling like body aches or like pains, right? Could be feels connected to inflammation. So if that's something that you're experiencing, again, listen to it instead of fighting it. Give it an opportunity to have a voice and saying, what are you teaching me, right? If it's even mental illness, right? If you're maybe struggling with your emotions and you're on this roller coaster, right? There's so much happening in the collective, but it's like, how can we look at it and see these challenges or these ailments that we're experiencing as a teacher, and how can we view it as separate from us and what it's teaching me? I've mentioned in other readings that, in the past I have had challenges with different eating disorders, and the eating disorder is an incredible teacher for me, where I never thought I was going to love food. I never thought I was going to feel good in my body. I always thought I was going to struggle, but as I made these minor adjustments throughout my life, I feel alive, I feel healthy, I feel strong, I feel beautiful, I feel radiant. And so the eating disorder for me wasn't my eating disorder. It was an eating disorder that actually was teaching me, and I am where I am today, and I'm connected to who I've connected with, and I've learned what I've learned because of it. So I've embraced it now, and it always rears its ugly head every once in a while, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I can just, through a process of elimination, work through the experience I was having, go into my mind and see where the energies I've been surrounding and what I've been looking at, right? And I can just kind of understand where that's coming from. So again, there's so many of you making drastic changes, which is great, but there needs to be time, right? And I think that's where my message in the beginning, now it's making sense, was that where I was like, what's the rush? Why are we forcing our bodies to look a certain way? Why are we forcing our businesses? Why are we forcing our families? Why are we forcing, this persona to look a certain way when we're all the same at the core of it, right? So taking your time and slow and steady wins the race. All right, so let's see, what action steps? So these are Yasmin's brand new deck, Moonology Manifestation. So what action steps can you take this week to support your healing? Mother Moon, Isis. Whoa, all right. Exclamation point. Action steps. Can you take this? Wow, let your fears dissolve. Full moon in Cancer. So we're, again, embracing the full moon. The Cancer energy is all about emotions. So if you're on that emotional roller coaster this week, you're feeling that energy come up, let your fears dissolve. And the best way to do that is listen to them, right? When the fears come up, the frustrations, if you want to blame somebody or you want to put expectations on something, like it should be this way or it should be that way. Again, it's coming from a fear of being out of control in some way. So being able to pull back and listen to that fear, right? I always say fear and leaning into it can be an incredible teacher when you know the difference between intuitive divine guidance and fear-based thoughts stemming from that low vibration of the ego, right? The ego is a phenomenal teacher for us. It's a really great pathway, but it also can provoke limitation and fear as well. So the full moon in Cancer energy this week shows me that this could be all emotional energy. It takes 90 seconds for an emotion to move through your body, meaning if you are triggered and you're fiery and you're frustrated, if you can love yourself enough to pause and feel it out and just listen to it. Now, I'll tell you, friends, I've done it many times, and it's usually in the middle of the night between 2 and 4 in the morning. I wake up with the fire in my back, or I wake up with the restlessness in my body, and I know something is moving out. Something is working through me. And, you know, as much as I want to go back to sleep, I have learned that I'm going to take that time to like listen to it, and it's super uncomfortable and it's painful. But I have found that usually when I wake up the next day, I have some insight, I have some guidance, or I feel a lot better. So again, I keep feeling like some of you may be feeling body aches this week. Again, growing pains maybe. And again, just reflecting on like what you're learning from that experiencing, and how can you, again, get off the loop of the cycle and the pattern of fighting and resisting and forcing, and how can you get into the relax, breathe, soften, and open, and being receptive to the wisdom that's coming from it, the knowledge that's coming from it. I almost feel it's got to come from inside out. It's not necessarily going to come from like a book or a video or a reading or something. So you might get support in that way, you might get a lead in that way, but I feel like this energy is flushing out the fears, helping you get back into your body to hear that wisdom and have that connection on deeper levels, which is really, again, a soul journey, right? Soul is in singular and soul is in SOUL on a higher level. So full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. And I just feel like it's like allowing it to cycle through. You know, I'm thinking about the morning that I was supposed to go, the morning that I was going skydiving. And I was so excited to do it because I had wanted to do it for so long, and I kept putting it off, and it was finally working out. And I was going with 2 other women, and I was loving like the whole energy of us getting excited about going, but deep down I had fears. And I'm like, well, this is normal, it's healthy, my body's getting ready to like fall out of a plane. Like, fears are natural. And I remember that morning just I was in Sedona, Arizona, and I was remembering like just sitting with the fears and just that self-soothing and listening to the fears. But I remember just kind of self-soothing and saying like, you know, I did my research, and this is the great time for it, and I've got really great support, and I'm excited from what I'm going to learn about myself from this. So it wasn't forced. It wasn't like from like a place of ego. It was like, this is aligned and it's happening, and I'm excited, but I'm also fearful. And so being able to sit and allow those fears to cycle through, and me being able to self-soothe in a healthy way, really, I think, opened up space for me to have an incredible experience. It really was, you know, I've mentioned it before in other readings that my skydiving experience, was, like once the parachute opened, it was the most peaceful. It was the most peaceful I've ever been in my whole life. You'd think that it would be the scariest, but once there's that free fall out of the plane and the experience of the wind coming in your face, and once that chute opened and we were floating down, I mean, at this point we were like 14,000 feet in the sky, watching the mountains. We were above the mountains, and I have to say, the thought would be it would be so scary, but the scary part was before, in the unknown, and then in the float down, whatever that 15 minutes was down to the ground, it was the most peaceful, it was the most quiet, it was the most serene experience I've ever experienced in my whole life, because there was nothing, friends, there was no noise. And I just realized that, when you face these fears, when you lean into them, you have courage, right? Courage comes from that, I say to myself now, God, if I can do that, if I can really in a healthy way work through those things, I can do anything, right? So since then, I've climbed Mount Washington, and I have fire walked with the Unleash the Power Within event with Tony Robbins twice. And again, I'm not saying you've got to be, an adventurer, you got to live on the edge, but for me, it's these physical experiences that I have found I've learned the most for myself, and what I can overcome and what I can do, right? Mount Washington was another whole different experience, and it was all mental for me. I really struggled, but I did it bottom to top, top to bottom in a day, driving there and driving home. So I wasn't alone when I did that, but I did have a partner with me, but doing that, it was almost like nothing in life could have prepared me for that type of climb. And so that in of itself taught me. So I feel like some of you might be climbing a mountain. Some of you might be energetically feeling like you're falling. Some of you may energetically feeling like you've got to get yourself somewhere, and it's mustering up that strength, listening to the fears and letting it be your fuel. And it really starts with your body. I hope this is making sense. I feel like it's a totally different energy from what I've been working with. But I also feel like it's an energy that's needed now with the space that we're in, this new energetic space that we're experiencing. We also just entered Scorpio season, so happy birthday, Scorpios. So we're now in this mysterious, watery, emotional energy, right? Intuitive. Scorpio is intuitive. It's mysterious. It's dark, but in a I don't know, it's dark, but in a alluring kind of way, right? The unseen. So it's in the unknown. So, and again, we're connecting with this emotional energy. So we've got full moon in Aries, again, the fire energy. We've got Scorpio that we've just entered into, which is a water sign. And then, like I said, we're experiencing this moon energy. And for the cards this week, it's about being receptive in your body, listening to what your needs are, and then releasing any fears that are coming up with that. So what are you being gifted with? All this emotional energy and change and transformation. What are you being gifted with through all this? What's being gifted this week? Isis, Mother Moon. What are the Earth Angels being gifted with? These cards are bouncing this week. New beginnings. Well, it's a new moon, but beginnings. It's card number 2. 2 is have faith. Everything's going to be okay. I love how, we've got the moon here, but there's also this light energy, a new pathway. So again, I almost feel like it's a final clearing in preparation for 2022. 2022 is a 6 universal year. 6 is connected to Venus, which is connected to the planet. It's the planet of love, right? So, what else? 6 is connected with love. It's connected with home and family and creativity. It's connected to self-love and self-expression. So I feel like, you're going through all this stuff to get to know yourself on deeper levels, because we have this new energy coming in next year. So what can you dump? What can you purge? And really starting with your body first. A lot of people on the spiritual journey realize, when they release the taking care of, the codependent tendencies to take care of take care of everybody else, and really get into your own spiritual healing, you start realizing that the energy around you changes. When you're constantly outside of your body and you're handling and managing everything outside of you, family, friends, job, all those things outside of you, it's never ending. So, a lot of Earth Angels this year have learned about how to shift back into receiving and taking care of the self, and really unplugging from those energies that are pulling at you, right? I need you, I need you, I want you, I want you, I have to have you, I have to have you, right? In that energy. And again, it's so hard to shift from that. But when you do, you'll realize how much those energies, those experiences, those responsibilities have such a massive hold on the energy that you have. And once you can shift it and kind of work towards yourself, what happens is you realize that everybody's working out their own stuff, that, you know, things get figured out and the divine works in mysterious ways, right? So we're kind of learning this. And again, you know, you're being gifted with new moon energy, new beginnings, manifestations, the gifts. So through this, whatever you've been manifesting through the new moon, whatever you've been calling in, whatever magical energy you're creating is coming in more easily and effortlessly. And it starts with the deep self-love and connection to the divine, right? You're co-creating with that energy. All right, so final message here. Overall message with the Moonology. These are the original by Yasmin Boland. So let's see, what overall message does Mother Moon and Isis have for you this week? It's the overall message. What message do you need to hear, see, feel, and know to finish out this reading this week? A fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries, and we're in the full moon in Aries. Ooh, that is intense. So the fact that I pulled that and we're in this energy, I am going to go to the book and I'm going to read more about this. A fiery climax approaches. So again, if you're feeling spicy, if you're feeling the heat, I've certainly been feeling the triggers personally. And, you know, I had this conversation with my therapist recently that I was being triggered and I was feeling fired up and I was just feeling all that energy. And I have to say, as I was feeling it and embracing it and frustrated, annoyed, and it actually I felt more liberating, and I almost felt more alive trying to process all this stuff in a non-judgmental way. So again, if you're feeling that fire, you're not alone. So the book here, so I have the book, it says, it's time to see if you've been a little bit too much me. It says there's a tug of war going on between what you want and what someone else wants, but you'll have to wait a little while to see what's going to happen next. As you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have done. I almost feel like this is like with yourself too, right? Being kind to yourself and gentle and non-judgmental and accepting and trying to learn from the experiences you're going through. It says if you know deep down that you've been a little rash or harsh, gone too fast or overstepped the mark, then accept that on some level you've created this situation yourself, which means you can create your way out of it too. When this card comes up, a peak is coming and it could be fiery, right? So attune to the moon. It says be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate to where you want to be. Again, I feel this means, for me, I'm getting to yourself. You are definitely that to other people, but I feel like the message is here, be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite to yourself as you navigate to where you want to be. Again, additional meanings, being assertive is good. Just don't ride like steamroll over everyone. It says if you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. It says, don't, it's like be mindful of tantrums, be mindful of leaky energy that's spilling out, right? And there's a need to have more fun. It says the full moon in Aries is a super fiery time when emotions can run very high. Again, this is all here in the cards, right? It says on the upside, there's excitement about what may lie ahead, but tempers are likely to flare with rash comments or decisions. It says no matter when you pull this card, and we pulled it in the full moon in Aries. It says it signals that the situation has just or is about to come to a peak, perhaps in a rather heated way. This could be a price to pay if you've been too competitive or too blunt. So again, just being mindful of where you may be infringing on other people's journey, on other people's experiences, and how you can maybe pull that within yourself and saying, okay, how can I make the adjustments in my life? How can I make changes? Where am I having this tug of war with myself? Where am I at battle? Where am I, in this heated, fiery place? For me, I get very frustrated with myself with learning. If I do something and I have an experience where I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that, or why didn't I think, like, why, darn that people pleaser in me, and I did it again. And I really go there to like really beating myself up, but I recognize it almost immediately now, and in that moment I choose to be kind. In that moment I choose to remember that I'm learning, and if I forget that, I have a really phenomenal support system that reminds me of that, right? I've got really great spiritual mentors that I hash things out with, and I'm reminded. So deep down I know these things, but having somebody to love you and care about you, whether it's platonic or whether it's family, to remind you that, hey, this is you learning. You didn't know. There's no way you could have known, but now that you know, you're learning. So forgive yourself, right? So I'm just feeling this awareness, this dialogue with yourself this week, this kindness, this gentleness, and you'll see how your needs are always met. That the mother energy is always nurturing and providing. But understand that, again, being in a 5 universal year, anything that's not in alignment with the higher wisdom of the heart needs to go. And that's people, places, things, and ideas this year. So again, if you're following your spiritual disciplines and you're showing up every day and you're not necessarily seeing the fruits of your labor, stick with the love, stick with the compassion. Maybe getting around other like-minded people may be beneficial, or maybe some time alone may be beneficial with yourself, but give yourself some space to fill up, to feel alive again, but knowing that, we're in this final flush, this final purge of this energy, and it's like murky and it's yucky a little bit. So, I'm completely unplugged from, media outlets. I'm completely unplugged from, I don't, have cable. I do have internet. So, I do have access to some streaming, but for the most part, I am fully immersed in myself and my intuition. And so even then, I'm not even dialed in, and I am aware of what's going on. I do have some resources that I turn to gather information, but again, for the most part, I'm still feeling that. Even though I'm not plugged in, I'm feeling the shifts in the energy. So, that's why I'm saying, like, you can make adjustments, you can make some eliminations, but because you're a sensitive soul, that doesn't mean that you're not going to feel it. You certainly are, and that's part of the journey, right? Is how to navigate through it. So everything you're experiencing now, the lessons that you're learning, your story will be what you utilize to help your future clients, to help future people that come along your path, to help people on your journey to be able to give back, right? This is how we transform energy. Like, I learned this kind of goes back to that gatherer energy, right? Where don't eat that berry, stay out of that sinkhole, don't go over there. We're all kind of coming into sharing these beautiful blessings of our story to be able to help younger generations and even older generations, no matter where you're at on your on your timeline, you're now being able to gift the information that you've learned through experience to other people, and I can tell you the divine is sending them your way. So it's crucial that you have your own mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health in balance, right? Because the masses are coming, my friends. So I feel like this is kind of just a final push and awareness of this energy that's coming out. I love the colors of of the cards. We've got similarities here. We've got the moon energy all throughout. We've got this, this pinky, orangey, reddish color going on. Again, right here, we've had the Ankh, right? Or I say Unki, of the divine feminine symbol, right? So it's all coming through this reading this week. So connecting with your intuition, your feelings, your emotions. We've been seeing it in the cards, extremes, fiery energy, it's coming to head. So if you're noticing these patterns, how can you release and surrender control and ask the divine for a different way forward, or sending people in your life that can bless you, right? And support you on your journey. Awesome. So short cards, but long reading. So let me close space for us. Let me thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you today, especially Isis and Mother Moon. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done, in mind, body, spirit, and emotions in all ways. All right, friends, remember, this is just a sprinkle of guidance to support you into the week. So you may not be feeling this right now, but maybe midweek or end of the week, come back and maybe check in, and it may resonate. But also, too, remember that this information can also help you help others. So just knowing this, this is where you share. You share, again, whatever you take from this reading, whatever way it resonates with you. What will happen, too, is if you're not in this, what will happen is you will naturally attract people in your life who are in this, and then you take and you interpret it and you share the wisdom in your own way, right? That's how energy flows. I share what I know through what I experience in the cards and the way they come out in the moment, and then you take that in and you interpret it and it resonates with you in a certain way, and then you take that information and you share it with others, right? And that's how it works. So, please know that, the divine is empowering you and gifting you with a voice, a powerful voice for a reason, right? And experiences and challenges, it will give you an opportunity to learn and grow, and being able to support others for lifetimes forward. Oh, I love that. And so, as always, if I can be an assistance to you, if I can support you in any way, if you want to book a session, go through my playlists. I have Pick a Pile and Pick a Card readings. So, if you need extra support, you can go through those readings and receive guidance and information, insight and support, even comfort through those readings. Also, too, if you feel like you want a private session with me, all that information is in the description box below this video. What else? I think that's it this week. Subscribe, connect, like, the video. It all helps me too, and I appreciate that you do that so much. Again, it's all about sharing for me. It's all about supporting, and however you want to share that and support that is always appreciated. Even just you showing up every week. So I love you. I love you for so many reasons. I love you for your soul. I love you for the gift you are to humanity. I love the person that you are. I love how hard you're working. I love how much you're growing. God loves you so much. And in that, trust the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.